Okay, this video we are taking a look at Alphacore Volume 1 from Rippaverse Comics. Years ago, Brian Solari retired from the Texas military and settled down in Flores Park. He was a hero to most, but his mission was complete. Brian believed that joining the police force would be the closest he'd get to being a good guy in a war. Tasked to deal with exceps, Brian realised that he needed allies. He recruited Braxwell, and this marked the formation of Alphacore. The duo became a trio with the addition of Ingrid Valdez. Together, they nullify except-related threats that occasionally plague this affluent city. Written by comic book legend Chuck Dixon, Alphacore 1 sets out to familiarise readers with their new favourite team. Artist Joe Bennett brings the characters to life with his incredibly unique artwork. This is what a first issue is all about. So that's the little write-up on the back of Alphacore issue 1, and this is, as far as I'm aware, this is the only sort of team we've got going thus far in Rippaverse. So this is the nearest thing we've got to Justice League or the Avengers. Not to say this is anything like Justice League or the Avengers. So the setup with Alphacore, I am a little tiny bit confused, I've got to say, because they appear to be seconded to the police. They're attached to the local police. It's like if the local police department decides that a case needs to be referred to the FBI and they call the FBI in. If they have a case which involves superpowered villains, then they call in Alphacore. So they seem to be connected to the police, but they look like they're part of the military. Now we've got the 3 members of Alphacore, but they've also got support staff. I don't know how many there are. There seem to be quite a few of them. And they've also got a flying base, or floating base, flying/floating base. It's kind of like if Batman had a flying Batcave and a whole team of Alfreds. That's kind of what it's like. But the support staff all look to be wearing military uniforms. Now I think what it probably is, I think it's probably just a case of the team's colours are green. So everyone's wearing green. The 3 superpowered characters all have green outfits on. And I'm thinking it's just a case of the support staff are themselves wearing their own green uniforms. Hopefully that will be clarified at some point in the future, but that was a little bit confusing for me. So we've got 3 members of Alphacore, ignoring the support staff. So we've got firstly Solari, Brian Solari, and he's kind of like a Rippaverse version of Superman, I guess. He can fly, he's got super strength, he seems to be bulletproof. Don't know about any other powers, and he seems to be the team leader, and he seems to be a bit impetuous. He's kind of keen to get stuck in and help out, even when he's not been called in and he's not really wanted. And then we've got Ingrid Valdez, and she, I'm not entirely sure what her powers are, but she seems to have 2 long whip-like extensions from her arms. And whether she can create these at will or whether she's stuck with these, I don't know. I don't know what they're made of. They're pretty formidable. They can cut through, cut chunks off of aircraft, and I'm thinking she's kind of similar to characters like maybe Constrictor or Omega Red from Marvel, or what's her name, Lashina from DC. Maybe even like Wonder Woman with a lasso of truth. And then the 3rd member is Braxwell, and we don't really know much about him. He doesn't seem to say anything. We've not really been told anything about him. And he kind of reminds me of a character that most of you have probably never heard of, a character called Red Dragon, who's from a superhero strip called Zenith, which was published in British comic, 2000 AD, the comic that Judge Dredd comes from. And I think it's only because of the outfit. I think the helmet's just reminded me of Red Dragon's kind of outfit. And Zenith was written by Grant Morrison way back before he went off to DC and kind of revamped Doom Patrol and Animal Man. So those are the three members of Alphacore. Now, as for what happens in this issue, basically they cross paths with a couple of villains by the name of Lillian Ronashi and Michael Copper, who seem to have, well, at least one of them, at least Lillian seems to have some powers herself, and I don't know quite what to call these. They're sort of con men, scammers, thieves, but they're obviously very successful. They're obviously high level at whatever they do, because they seem to be pretty wealthy. Of course, I guess they could have been wealthy to start with, and they just got bored and going around doing what they do. But they're certainly wealthy enough that they can hire other superpowered individuals to come and do jobs for them, which is what they do in this. So we get to meet another couple of superpowered individuals, all very interesting. So we've basically got Alphacore investigating what these two individuals are up to, and in response we've got the villains, who don't like people getting in their way, taking steps to remove Alphacore from their path, basically. While this is all going on, we've also got Alphacore working with various members of the local police force with regard to the hired supervillains. It's all very interesting, and I think Alphacore definitely find out that these two are not villains to take lightly. Gotta say, I really enjoyed the issue. It's a really good, it does say this is what a first issue is all about. It really was a good introduction to Alphacore and the two villains in question, and I'm definitely looking forward to the second issue of Alphacore and seeing what else these two villains get up to. Okay, that's our look at the first volume of Alphacore from Rippaverse Comics. That is it for this video. Until next time, remember, hit the thumbs up below, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one.